the Quran needs to be presented in language that university students can understand if they're not tafsir students. Underneath that is the Quran needs to be presented to teenagers in language they can understand without them feeling like they're being subjected to some old people conversation.
Mm.
Underneath that is kids need to be engaged. Underneath that is, preschoolers need to be engaged in the Quran. And if you work forwards, how do I build up kindergartner? And I have a plan for a kindergartner that by the time they come out of high school, they have a Quran-inspired worldview and they have a pretty good grasp of what this book is about. And they're really passionate about continuing to explore the treasures of this book for the rest of their life. Like that, how do I do that? I have these 11 years to do this with a kid that he just, in his or her adulthood, they're just diving into the Quran for its richness their entire life and exploring its meaning.
So worldview building curriculum.
Yeah, a Quranic worldview building. But the thing I experienced, you were in the full-time dream program, and again, I'm unfiltered in this for some reason. So I really wanted people to learn Arabic so they can get into Quranic studies. But Quranic studies at that point was my personal venture. Like I was engaging in, I couldn't figure out a system for it. Like how do I systemize the study of the Quran? So a lot of my students, they studied Arabic with me and then they went on to do Islamic studies elsewhere.
Yeah.
But a lot of those Islamic studies institutions were byproducts of institutions that are already in the East, which I already told you have many fossilized approaches to curricula. Right? So they're learning beneficial Islamic sciences, but they're not pushing the boundary and it's certainly not Quran-centric. Right? It's not like you're going to go to an institution and by the time you come out, you have this really deep, beautiful grasp of the Quran. What you mostly have is a really good understanding of fiqh. You have a pretty good understanding of hadith issues. You have a pretty good understanding. Other subjects get a lot of attention. The Quran gets ceremonial attention. I told the alim in Pakistan, the only subject in Islamic studies that's the yatim is Quran. Like we've replaced Quran with hifz. And we call it we're learning Quran. That's not learning Quran. That's learning the sounds of the Quran. That's not the Quran. Quran is a message.